All right, guess who is back? I'm back, and today I'm bringing you my next rant. Looks like there will be two this week, but this one I think you guys are really going to enjoy, and it's one that I've wanted to kind of discuss for a while, and it's all about the mental aspects about the game of soccer and how to be successful with that. So, to get you started, I read a quote about a week and a half ago, give or take, and it went like this, and it said, 80% of high school coaches demand mentally strong players, 90% of college coaches demand mentally strong players, and 100% of professional coaches demand mentally strong players. So the question that I now have for everybody is, why is mental strength, mental fortitude, mental toughness really not taught at youth soccer? Because if we're going to excel at the highest levels, mental toughness has to be paramount. It's so important. So I'm going to bring you that topic, and we're going to get discussing it right now. So let's get into it. Let's go. Before I really dive into this, I want to hear from you. Do you think that mental toughness is crucial for players to reach the highest level, the next level, whether it's college, professional, or to play for Man City, for example, Man United, PSG, Real Madrid, whatever? Do you think it's necessary? Yes or no? Let me know. So I'm going to tell you this, my opinion. I think mental toughness, that fortitude, is one of the hardest things, not only about soccer, but in life, right? And I say that because, can you take a hit? Let's say you're in a game. Can you take a hit and can you stand back up, right? And in life, can you take a hit and can you stand back up, or do you go and get defeated? So I'll give you an example. Yesterday, my team won the Orlando City Winter Classic, and the game was miserable. It was like 45 degrees, pouring rain, terrible conditions. And so before the game, before the warm-up, the first thing I brought the kids in, and I said, listen, I was like, this game is going to be fun, but it's going to suck at the same time because it's a final. There's going to be pressure, and there's going to be added pressure because the conditions suck. But I said, guess what? We're going to find out today who wants to be a champion. And in the end, players stepped up. In the end, players stepped up and said, you know what, we want to be a champion regardless of the conditions. And that's a mental trigger. That's a mental thing to say, you know what, I'm not going to lose today. I'm going to step up and take charge and take command because it's tough. I mean, they could easily back down and said, you know what, nah, I don't care. We're going to lose, whatever. It's too cold. Whatever, we'll throw an excuse. It's an excuse. Whatever they want to say is the reason why we lost. It was too cold, my hands were freezing, I couldn't feel my feet, whatever. But it's the same conditions that the other team had, right? They had the same conditions. And that comes down to resolve. Having that inner fight to say, you know what, regardless of the circumstances, I'm going to step up and I'm not going to hide. And I like to use that word a lot, hiding. Too many players in this country, even at the highest level, our best players hide. Now, it's hard. Mentally, you have to be so tough here if you want to play at the next level, because it is a grueling process. Now, the question is, how do you develop mental toughness? How do you develop that? So let's discuss this. I'm going to do my answer to this. I'll do it tomorrow, a live video again. But there's a couple more things I want to talk about. But again, we're going to discuss mental toughness. How do you survive in that? Even when you're taking a beating, like I remember a game that I played when I was like 15 years old, and my team was getting smacked. We were getting knocked off the field. It was 6-0, but me in that moment, I stood up and I said, you know what? I don't care. I don't care that I'm losing 6-0, 5-0, 4-0, whatever the score, right? 6-0, and we lost the game 6-0. I stood up and I was always still trying to make the game happen. It didn't matter to me what the score was. It mattered that I had the mental strength to say, you know what, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep fighting regardless of anything else. And I believe that not many of our country's players have that resolve to say, you know what, no matter what happens, no matter what, I'm going to keep going. And you can listen to some of the most successful people in the world, and they talk about how it's all here, mental, right? Because there's going to be negative things are going to happen. You could get hurt. You could lose your job. Whatever, right? You could lose your position on the team. And I'll use that example. You could lose your position on the team. Do you respond and say, you know what, the coach is wrong. you shouldn't have done that, or do you step up and say, you know what, it's on me to make myself better, to show coach that he's wrong for taking me out? And how many players have that, right? And that's all ages. How many players go, you know what, my coach decided to take me out, I have to prove when I go back in that I deserve to play. And I'll tell you this, when I played for the national team, for U.S. men's national futsal team, we were losing to Mexico 6-2. We lost the game 6-2 rather. And you know what? I was the first guy subbed out. And I'll admit it, I was the first guy subbed out. And it's because I didn't do what the coach wanted me to do. He kept saying we need to be more aggressive. Now, aggressiveness isn't necessarily my style. I'm not a super aggressive player. But you know what? I proved back into the coach. I went back in a couple minutes later because he knew my qualities. And I said, you know what? I'm going to have to step up. And I said, I'm not going to let that one thing where I wasn't aggressive enough derail me from doing and playing and wearing the badge of my country. So I stood up and I thrived under that pressure. And we lost the game. But I was like, I'm not gonna let that one little thing deter me from doing what I needed to do in that situation. And I had to be more aggressive. I had to step up and put more pressure, go after players quicker, and do the things that I needed to do to play more. And so I had to step up. If you're the best player on your team, right? And this is a challenge I'm giving you. If you're the best player in your team or one of the best, can you step up? Can you be the go-to player? Right now, when I played futsal, when I was on the national team, I was directing everybody. I was saying, go here, do this, keep the ball. Because one of the things, obviously, typical of American soccer and obviously futsal is we aren't the best at maintaining possession of the ball. And the purpose, right? There's a purpose behind doing that. So I was always instructing and directing the team, keep the ball. Because in futsal, especially, when you have the ball, it is essentially impossible for the other team to score. And in a court that's that small, if you lose the ball in, say, a bad position or lose the ball, period, there is a high potential, at least for a good shot from the other team. And obviously that leads to potential of a goal. So you have to, again, that's mental. I was like, you know what? I'm going to lead this group. I'm going to be the guy. I want to step up for my country, right? And that was me mentally telling myself, I'm going to do this. Right? And that's something I said, you know what? I'm representing my country. I'm going to step up and do this for my country. And to be honest, and this is the hardest part, the mental side, it literally comes from you. So when you go, I can't do this, right? You're not going to do it. When you go, I got this, or you know what? I want to be a champion. You have a much higher chance of making that a reality. And it might not happen right away, by the way. It might not happen today. It might not happen tomorrow. But you're giving yourself that mental trigger to say, you know what? I can do it. I can do that. So that's the thing that I was trying to do in the game with my kids. Is to listen, I want to see who wants to be a champion. Even if we lost the game, but the kids showed that heart and that fight, right? They would have showed that in their minds that they want to be a champion. So it's all about that self-talk to yourself. How do you talk to yourself? Do you say, I suck, or bad day for me today? And those are excuses, right? You're making an excuse. If you say, you know what, I'm going to do it, I'm okay no matter what, I got this, eventually you're going to get it. And that's a key takeaway. So pay attention, stay tuned for tomorrow. I will be discussing and going live over all of this and really bridging and helping bridge that gap of the mental triggers and that toughness that you need, that if you want to play at the next level, that you have to have it. Two things before I forget. I want to give a shout out to JD, and he played in the final against my team yesterday, and I want to give him this shout out because honestly I was so impressed with his mental fortitude that he fought through everything. In fact, he was the guy that scored the goal for their team. He got the first goal, so they were winning 1-0. And he stood up and he took the game by the scruff of the neck, and that's how they scored. Because he got the ball, beat a guy, pushed past another one, shot, goal. And that's mental, right? To be like, I'm going to put the game on my back in a final. There's a lot of pressure riding on that, because guess what? You make one mistake in a final, regardless of the level, it could cost you the game. And that's why I'm saying he showed that he could be a champion, and his team didn't win. But mentally, he's showing that he can hang and that he will be a champion in longer time. And that will take time to develop. But for me and a guy that coaches him, I'm proud of that mental stuff. It's tough. The second part is, and I'm talking about the national team again, is you guys might remember this. I told you that when I got there, I didn't know anybody. I didn't even know the coach. I didn't know any of the players. So, like, I had to stand up and say, and I could have hid, and I could have been like, you know what? I'm here on the national team. I'm just glad I'm here. I'm cool with sitting the bench. And I could have taken that mindset and be like, you know what? I'm going to let these guys play. But I fought for everything that I had because I wanted to play. I wanted my shot. I wanted my chance to represent my country. And I am so honored and privileged to have got 2 starts, got my first goal, and even got an assist. And, like, not everybody gets to say that they got to play for their national team and scored, starts, assist. That was monumental for me. Monumental. Game-changing, really. And it all started because of this. I've gotten a few questions from people on how to develop mentally tough players. And tomorrow during my live video, I will share and discuss how I'm going to do that. So make sure you stay tuned. Right now I'm out at a high school game. Freezing, as you can tell, so it'll be fun. But anyways, yeah, stay tuned for tomorrow's live video, and I'll share exactly how to develop mentally tough players. See you then.